Thank you, Chair Thompson, and thank you to the Homeland Security Democrats for allowing those of us who do not serve on the committee to be with you all today. And thank you so much to our witnesses. You have been incredible. And I'm so grateful to ProPublica for publishing their investigation detailing the 170 citizens who have been detained. I would argue that it's at least 172, and I have two stories directly from Oregon. Earlier this month, Sandra, a U.S. citizen, and her husband were driving just east of Portland when they were stopped by ICE. Despite claiming they were only targeting Sandra's husband, ICE dragged Sandra from her car, pointed a gun in her face, handcuffed her wrists to her ankles, and detained her for hours in the Portland field office. It's not a detention facility. It was only then, hours later, that ICE realized their mistake. Sandra is an American citizen. No one deserves to be treated that way. Nobody. Not even non-citizens, and certainly not American citizens. Upon her release, the ICE officer who had detained her even apologized for how he treated her, saying he was just really pissed off. Yeah. Just south of Portland in Milwaukee, Frank, another U.S. citizen, was abducted from his job by masked, plainclothes ICE agents. So he could not identify who they were. These unidentified agents forced him onto the floor of a van and took him straight to the Portland field office for, again, detainment. For hours, Frank pleaded with the agents, telling them that they had the wrong guy. Eventually, ICE realized their mistake and took Frank back to work, all without any information or any type of justification for his arrest. And these are just two of several stories that we have been hearing in Oregon and all across Oregon, but obviously the Portland area has had a lot of attention. And we have been hearing these stories about people being traumatized and mishandled by ICE agents. And it's important, I think, that we continue to share these stories, again, from people who are citizens and non-citizens. And I represent the Willamette Valley, so we have a lot of farm workers, a lot of folks in hospitality, but we also have people who are business owners who have lived in our communities for 30, 40 years and are there, temporary, and have their TPS holders, but people who are the fabric of our community and just want to continue living their lives. But I want to start with Ms. Shaw, and thank you so much to the ACLU for just helping us navigate so much of this and helping us to get in touch with so many people who have been detained. You've been amazing. We're watching the Trump administration weaponize the government and military against its citizens right now. This is plain and simple. That is what they're doing. We've witnessed masked federal agents armed with rifles roaming our streets, raiding apartment buildings in Chicago, and abducting people from their neighborhoods in Oregon. Can you discuss what you've seen in the militarization of immigration agents and the use of National Guard and how it threatens U.S. citizens, U.S. safety, really? It's because it's all of us. It's all of our safety.
Congresswoman, I first want to thank you for introducing the National Guard Proper Use Act, a really important bill that is among the only bills in Congress right now that addresses pointedly the use by this government of our nation's military to go after our own communities including Americans and their mixed status families, the misuse of government, of military resources to do immigration work, the use of our military bases as detention camps, the use of military planes, the misuse of defense assets against our communities. What is happening, what is playing out on the ground is the build out, I believe, of a national paramilitary policing force. The masks are not an accident. They're not an individual choice. They appear to be part of a strategy to make it so that we don't know who it is who's wearing that camouflage uniform. Is it ICE? Is it Border Patrol? Is it DEA? Is it the FBI? And we are hurtling towards a situation where, unfortunately, Americans experience federal military deployments and have to wonder if that person who is violating their constitutional rights is, in fact, a member of federal law enforcement or state and local law enforcement, or even someday the troops that they entrusted, who they know swore an oath to defend their rights and defend the Constitution. It's a danger to all of us when we cannot hold people accountable for the abuses they commit, and when they disguise themselves, when they build out that paramilitary policing force that blurs the lines of accountability between law enforcement, the federal government, and our military. It is a threat to all of our ability to vindicate our constitutional rights in court.
Is there any private right of action or anything that citizens or non-citizens can take at this point?
The reality is that our ability to hold federal officials accountable is stymied. At the Supreme Court, in a number of decisions, has limited the Bivens remedy that has been so important, and it is really here that we need to have Congress step in to make clear that the American people need to be able to hold federal officials accountable. And of course, in the past, we've always been able to rely in some form or fashion on the federal government to hold federal law enforcement accountable, the Department of Justice, which has been decimated. And so now it becomes even more important for us to see bills introduced by Congress and build support among members who are concerned about accountability for a Bivens remedy.
Thank you. My time has expired. I yield back.